Okay, here's another League of Legends post-game commentary coming your way, this time with Nocturne in the jungle. So first things first, you may have noticed my voice has not fully recovered just yet, and as a result, that's why I'm not in any rush to really do any commentary. But you can see our matchups here. I'm Nocturne in the jungle once again against Shaco. We have Jinx, partner Lulu bot against Trist and Malphite. We have Mal's mid against Galio, and Tryndamere top against Sion. So for all intents and purposes, I really do like our matchups. It's just, things are not going to go too smoothly. So, I think this is the game that actually got me to realize Nocturne's passive does scale. For those that aren't aware, the passive is Umbra Blades, I believe. Well, you have an auto attack that'll deal bonus damage and heal Nocturne based on the number of targets hit. It starts out at 10 damage per, or 10 health per target, and it increases by 8 at levels 7 and 13, I believe. So it goes up to 18 and then 26. You can read about it here, and I will show it again later on when it's all the way up to 26. So that actually does help quite a bit later on, and explains why Nocturne's clears are so safe once you pass level 7. Before, I just figured you had enough points in your Q, your base stats had increased enough, you have items, but the passive actually does play a role in that. As for your Q, it's Dusk Trail. Sadly, it's not going to be as impactful this game as it was last game where it revealed the stealth Shaco. It will... You lob out this little blade and it will mark targets hit. The targets that are hit by it will leave a Dusk Trail in their wake. Said Dusk Trail does give Nocturne bonus AD and allows him to pass through minions that are on the trail. The amount of AD you get does scale with rank, so that's why I'll be maxing first to make sure that I get the biggest bonus, since I don't build a lot of AD on Nocturne. I don't go for the whole assassin thing. I go for more of a bruiser that's a fairly good duelist. Your W is Shroud of Darkness. It has two components, the first of which is a passive attack speed boost. The secondary part is the active effect. It will boost your attack speed. If you successfully block a spell, it doubles the passive part. I also took the W here because I had the stun from the golem buff, so gain more attack speed would in turn make it so that I can get more stun procs out and therefore safer clear. All things considered, I like starting with Nocturne on the blue side. Well, I like Nocturne and Jungle on the blue side because I get the golem buff. It makes things much safer for me and just pays off much more as a result. Your E is Unspeakable Horror. Don't know to remember. It is a tether type move, does damage over time. If the enemy fails to break the tether in time, they will be feared, and it also has a passive component, which is it's another steroid in Nocturnes. You get a surge of movement speed when racing towards a target that is feared. And it doesn't just have to be your fear. Shaco's, Fiddlesticks, and I think that might actually be it. I know Volibear has and Darius also have fears, but I think those are working on minions. And finally, your ult is Paranoia. You block out vision across the map, and you can jump over to a target and hopefully kill them. It has a really long cooldown because once upon a time it was a global, now it's just somewhat big range. It was recently buffed, and I thought that would bring Nocturne to the forefront of popularity, but luckily for me it has not done so. It definitely would suck for my favorite jungler at the moment to get nerfed. So, a couple things to point out. Like, every Malzahar I've seen lately has gone for the Rod of Ages, which utterly confuses me. I guess most people think, hey, you get the mana refund from your E, therefore you don't need any regen despite Malza's spells being fairly expensive. I believe both his Q and his E cost over 100 mana, which is more than his ult. And while the Rod of Ages does give you a bunch of bonus mana, regen is just much, much better. As a result, I will be giving Malzahar the blue buffs here because, like I said, he won't have regen. If he doesn't have blue, he's kind of screwed. Anyway, right here I'm just doing more clear so I can get closer to my Devour. I like to start at the bottom because that's really the only angle of approach that's good for the Golem camp. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting time going to them. Just due to the way the walls are placed and everything, it's not very convenient. And sadly, I don't know if the map has ever been changed like that. I know the positions of various bushes have been moved, but the actual walls, I think, are fairly consistent. So right here, we're going to force Shaco to Q out. You can see the dust trails telling us that he blinked over the wall. If nothing else, we did force him to go back real quick, and it didn't cost me too much in mana. But overall, my goal here is just get closer to 6, get the Devour, and then proceed to hard carry. As for gank potential here, there is some to be found in both the top and the mid lanes. Galio himself is fairly immobile. Scion can't cover distance with his ult, but you can body block that. So, on paper, those would be the best lanes to gank, and in reality, I'm going to be focusing a lot on the mid and the bot lanes. And the reason why I don't want to bother with the bot lane is because Tristana has her rocket jump, she has her buster shot, both ways to create some distance, and then the real kicker is that Malphite has all these debuffs. His E will take away attack speed, his Q will take away movement speed, and his ult is a knock-up, so trying to get something done bot would be extremely tough. And right here I went in, I'm still staying in because I can see, hey, Mal's is there, but if you look, he has crap for mana. So right here I tried to point out, yeah, he had enough for one spell. Why the hell did he walk down the river if you can only cast a single spell? Especially this early on in the game, that one spell isn't actually going to matter much, it'd just be the base damage. Which just has me confused. Had I noticed he was pretty much I would not have stayed in. So once again right here, I'm going to start at the Golem camp so I can get... Actually I can't get the stun done. Okay, I am trying to kill them in a way to prolong it enough for me to get this. That does mean I will not get the healing from the red buff, but that's not exactly a bad thing since I do not have any lifesteal, so I'm relying on both basically my passive, my jungle item, as well as the various potions I have. But since I'm a little bit behind in EXP, I'm not really eager to go gank just yet. Once I hit 6, of course, that's a different story. That's when I become the fear that they just... Hold on. Okay, this isn't the moment I thought it was. Once I hit level 6, I'll actually start to deliver on the terror Nocturne can deliver. In case you're wondering, I am going to maul Galio right in that very position sometime in this game. I don't remember how soon it is exactly. Okay, I think I remember where my first kill is, so yeah, it's not to be found mid yet. So for Trinimir to get out of that, he had to basically start whacking Shaco to generate enough crits to bring his E off cooldown that he could spin to safety. Since he didn't actually do that, he died. And you can see that my team is kind of getting eaten alive here. The good news is we did get the Malphite. So, and the other good news is that that was on Jinx, or Hyper Carry.
Double kill.
So there's a little bit of good news. have enough for my Devour, so I can start stacking that. And unlike other Devourer players, I actually like to still keep an influence on the map rather than just hard farming, so I will be ganking here and there. It's just I try to time ganks with either specific moves or Nocturne's ult. And hopefully you'll see what I mean as we progress a bit. So with the Devourer I have more attack speed to make even better use out of the golem buff here. When you're playing auto attack characters, I think that's probably the single best buff for you to take while you're trying to farm up. As you get later and later into the game, then the chicken and the toadstool buffs take priority. But that's just what I think for early game. So sadly Shaco got that denies me 2 stacks. And I don't have my trinket up just yet to give Mal's a little bit of help with this vision, but he seems to be okay. He's at least playing far enough back. So right here I pretty much make it clear that I'm willing to give Mal's the blue buff. Kind of hoping that he can just push Galio into the tower and play safe by being able to cast his spells from a distance. And I try to take the small minions, that way I still get a good chunk of gold, since a lot of it is in those. I could give those to Mal's if I were really generous, but I'm not. So with as aggressive as the bot lane is, there's definitely stuff to be found there, but you can see that the Shaco is willing to capitalize on some of their moves. So right there we lost Jinx, and you can tell that I'm finally going to make my move on Trist. Afraid of the dark. So as soon as she steps into vision, she uses her Buster Shot and dies to the Dusk Trail. That has to suck for her. So right here, Mal's pings Dragon, which we can definitely do since the bot lane is gone, and the two of us can deal with Shaco. Unfortunately, Galio will show up, and you'll see how this plays out. Like usual, I try to use the Shroud of Darkness to block one of the Dragon's breath attacks. That way I get the doubled attack speed and clear this faster. Mal's has his Voidling tank this for us, since I'm not exactly sure why that takes reduced damage from the dragon, but the key thing is it does. So Mal, right there I spell shield the Galio ult, and there's nothing I can do here, so I have to leave. Sadly, I hit the mic, sorry. Sadly, Malphite came back up, so I couldn't just cut Shaco to pieces, but the important thing is we got the mid laner. Plus we also got the dragon, so that's 5 stacks for my Devourer. You can see that I've pretty much made up any lost ground that I had. But level 9, Dust Trail is maxed. And I don't want to go for Galio here because I'm wounded and Shaco could very well be in the area. But on the other hand, I can go ahead and get the Bilgewater Cutlass. I'm topped off, I can get the red buff, and then we can look for opportunities. So right there you can see Mel's has his completed Rod of Ages, definitely not a fan of that. I don't know if it's just people that are following the recommended build or if someone played him. I'm not familiar with the pro scene enough to know. And I probably should amend that I'm not familiar with the pro scene at all. So Triss goes in, she gets her reset, but I think she's done. Okay, she did have enough mana, but she dies to the Dust Trail once again. I was thinking that she probably used too much mana so she can rocket jump to safety, not thinking I'd be nearby. The important thing is she dies, so that way Jinx doesn't miss out on the EXP from the minions down here. Sadly, she doesn't get the kill gold, but she does get assist gold, which is the next best thing. But anyway, here's the red buff. It is up. You can kind of predict what's going to happen, can't you? So I told you I'd kill Galio right there, so it's now. So it is a bit disappointing that Galio outpushed Malzahar, but well. Sadly, that is my ult down, so I can't do anything really amazing. But there could be some potential on Scion. Of course, I want the Scuttle Crab for the 2 stacks. And I want to make sure that I get that not Mal's, because I get the bonus 30 gold as well as the 2 stacks. It helps me much, much more than it helps him. So right there I got the recurve bow for more attack speed, a little bit of bonus damage, and I also upgraded my trinket so that I could provide a little bit more vision. The vision helps my teammates, yes, but the other thing that it will help with is that by having vision in their jungle and stuff, I can sometimes hold on to someone who's trying to retreat. Bye-bye, mouse. In case you're wondering, I am going to kill Galio here. So unfortunately for him, I play Galio enough to know how to dodge those. And I feared through his ult. So yeah, he ulted once I had the tether on, which is a really bad move because once the fear activated, that was it. Sadly, right here, Shaco is going to kill me. I was hoping he was on a different side of the map and I could escape into my jungle, but just a little bit of bad luck there. See, he has the warrior enchantment. He's taking a lot of armor penetration, all things considered. He is going to be going for an assassin type thing, which is going to fall off late. You'll see what I mean as we go. Also doesn't help that he has Zerker Graves sometimes. Important thing in there is Jinx lives. Ever so slightly, but she lives.
An ally has been slain.
But then Shaco picked her off. So I kind of want to head down here to maybe help with the defense or something. The thing is, there isn't really a lot of kill potential. You can see that Triss just rocket jumps over the wall. Tryndamere did teleport. And the Shaco clone is still worth gold, so don't be afraid to kill it. Thing is, since I ain't getting any kills, I figure the next best thing is to go ahead and try to take the blue buff away. I believe that went to Tryndamere, which is not ideal, but still better than either of them having it. So right here I spell shield the Galio ult, which doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because I still sat there and hit him. And you can see that I almost died there. It's just the lifesteal and my passive that kept me going. Had he been allowed to channel that a bit more, that definitely would have killed me.
This place disgusts me.
Sadly, Galio did do enough damage to both Mal's and myself to where we can't contest the dragon. It's pretty much theirs. I don't even have my ult to hop into the pit or try to psych them out. And it kind of sucks since those 5 stacks would have been enough to finish my Devourer. But I can pick those up the old-fashioned way, or I can just kill people. That really works for me, you know? Sadly, I don't think you can get enough attack speed to kill that before it stealths without either some sort of auto attack reset or ally assistance.
I sense fear.
So we got Galio's flash. I didn't see what it was I spell shielded off of him, if it was actually his Q or his E, but I blocked one. And I used my ult just to pick him off so that he can't get anywhere. Since he keeps dying, he's gradually falling behind both gold and EXP. And this means that as the game goes longer and longer, he's going to be less and less influential. He essentially will become just an old bot. And that's especially damning since he's intended to be their AP carry. So now that we're finally starting to turn the game around, I can go into the enemy jungle and drop some wards so we can keep tabs on Shaco and the enemy's moves. And you can probably guess what's going to happen here. So if you notice, I'm one stack away from my Devourer. So right there, you saw how we could body block his ult. He might have gotten away if he flash ulted instead of ulted flashed. That completes my Devourer. I drop my smite on him to slow him down so that he can't get anyone. And that's it. 21 minutes in, Devourer complete.
Your team has destroyed
That's closer to 22, I guess. So we picked up a pair of turrets there, a lot of global gold for the team. And hopefully we're starting to break the enemy morale. I am trying to read what I'm saying, but I can't make out the text on my screen. I think it was something about split pushing. Anyway, right there I grabbed Ninja Tabby because Shaco, Scion, Trist, all of them have AD damage, so the armor will help as well as the auto attack reduction for Shaco and Trist. Scion may attack here and there, but his attacks don't really hurt too badly. In case you're wondering, right there, I was hoping to loop around Galio, but I guess I didn't get out of vision in time, so he backed off. I didn't want to ult since he was close enough, but I don't know if I should have. But here's the moment of truth. Get ready for it. One, 2, 3, 4. Penta denied. Sucks, huh? You probably thought I was gonna get it too, and the fact of the matter is I totally did have it. It's just Tryndamere didn't want to take any chances with Scion, which I can understand. I'm not mad at him or anything, but that was pretty much in my pocket. Sadly, that's probably the highlight of the video. You can see how we just mowed them down in a team fight because the enemy didn't follow up on Galio's ult, and pretty much by the time they did, he was dead. I mean, he's far behind. He can't do some of the things a Fed Galio can. But as a result of that fight, we help ourselves to the inhibitor. I don't want to stick around here because it's just a bad idea. As you can see, Jinx and Trin die. Had I stuck around, I'd be part of the casualty list. So instead I figure I'm going to go counter jump, pull myself to this blue buff, and we'll set Galio back a little bit further, and even potentially Shaco if Shaco doesn't want to share. The Shaco's going to be raging for most of the game, so I'm thinking it's safe to say he didn't plan on sharing. So right there I'm telling my team Dragon's coming up. If we can get that, it will augment our siege, but you can see the enemy's making a move on Baron. So right there I grabbed Giant's Belt just for the sake of grabbing an item. I had 1,000 gold, I wanted something to help my combat stats for the upcoming fight here. In reality, I wasn't sure what I was going to get, I just figured I need something. So right here I show up to pick off Scion. Triss thinks she can get away. That's 2 by 1. Sadly, Malphite does sacrifice himself so Galio can get away, and that kind of tells you this ends at 3. And I did not get to take part in Shaco's death, so I only got the 3, and only Galio has the Baron buff still. While all of this is going on, I figure, hey, I can help myself with the dragon. This will give us the structure destruction bonus, and potentially help us take more. And in retrospect, I probably should have dropped my Q, since I could have used the flat AD a little bit sooner, but it doesn't really matter. So right there, Trend is apologizing, which is why I'm not mad at him. It just happens. He wanted to play it safe, I understand. No point in raging at him.
I sense
Anyway, on this back, I'm going to ditch the potions for the Hex Drinker, which is probably what I should have bought instead of the Giant's Belt, but I didn't have enough to actually finish it, so I could have sold the potions and gotten the components, or so you can see right there, Jinx just got caught out. Once again, I can dodge the Galio Q since it's so slow. And sadly, we have to deal with the last Baron buff here. The enemy team is smart enough to huddle around the one guy with the buff so they can try to push. Bad news for them is that Mal's is pretty good at defending this. The buff reduces AoE damage taken by the minions. Yeah, I think it's AoE damage. So, my Dust Trail, Mal's Call of the Void, Null Zone, all of those deal reduced damage, but his visions do not. So basically we're just hoping that the visions can clear them quickly enough. But anyway, right here I'm helping myself to the red buff so that I can't get counter-jungled, and if you notice, Jinx is back. So that means it's time for a counterattack. So I'm not exactly sure how I got out of the Galio there, but the important thing is, in exchange for my life, we get 4 of them. Sadly, that does mean the enemy gets a shutdown, and they got Mal's too. Oh well. So we went 5 for 2. An ace in exchange for 2 of us. And the enemy did get a shutdown bonus, and went to Scion, luckily, who... I wouldn't say Scion has a lot of carry potential, sadly, which is why it going to him is not really a big deal.
The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon. Your team has destroyed a turret.
So, for some reason it didn't say ace, that's what the enemy team is pointing out, and... well, you can always count on me to be sarcastic, I guess.
this place disgusts me.
Since I don't know what I want to use that Giant's Belt for just yet, I am, just trying to farm up for the Maw Malmortius. That's a pretty nice item on Nocturne since it boosts your AD as your health goes down, and just boosts your dueling potential even further since the closer you get to dying, the harder you fight.
Are you getting tired yet?
So I could have smited the chicken to get that ward, I didn't really care to though. You can see Galio did steal it, but it's not really a big deal because I am extremely far ahead to anyone else in the game. If you look, I've got a sky-high kill participation rate. It's pretty much wherever I go, action follows. Oh, right here we're gonna kill Trist and a couple others. So Mal's and I jump in the bush for one of those death rush moves. I end up stealing the kill on Trist, and I follow Malphite to take him out of the fight. And with that, Scion's just horribly out of position. So we pick him off. I go ahead and use my fear on him so that way he can't hurt anyone. It's a short enough cooldown to where it's worth it. Especially since Scion can do a lot of damage at this point. So right here I'm tanking tower, which is no big deal. I'm also killing the Galley. And that structured destruction bonus from the dragon comes in handy right here. As you can see, 3 minutes left in the game. It's not quite over yet. I think we're going to back off and then do one final push. So right here I'm trying to kill as many minions here to get that lane pushing. Normally killing the 3 range would set up a slow push. It's just with the minions at our tower, it's not going to happen. So in the end, Scion's the only one left standing, and hopefully you can see how badly that Assassin Shaco build has fallen off. And since we're not getting anything done here, I just say screw it, let's go somewhere else and get stuff. We can steal some jungle creep to set Shaco even further back. He has a Last Whisper Yomu's and a Warrior enchantment from the look of it. That's definitely not good. So, third dragon bonus will give us movement speed, and here's where I finally lose my patience with them. They're just going to flat out rage, so I end up muting everyone. And you can see that I have a lot of gold, so I am going to go back before we do our final push. But right here I'm just trying to pick up as much gold as I can so that therefore I can try to get full build before then. It's just I don't. The item I end up settling on would be a frozen mallet, just for this game, that way I can stick to people even better. Sadly I can't afford that, but I can still get the Maw Malmortius. Here you can see like the Randuins can help for Shaco. He does have a crit from both his Yomu's and his Q, so that will reduce his damage. But it won't help with Scion or anyone else other than Trist. That's why I think a Fromal is probably the better bet. More health, and I can suit him.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
So here comes the final battle. Malphite down. Scion down. And instead of going for the 2 remaining kills, I just want to game over what is more important. So I just set my turrets. That's why I got that Elixir of Rune, so we can take towers more quickly, and victory is ours.